This video is not about food or my diet in particular. This video is primarily because I have no one to talk to. But sometimes you need to say things even though there's no one to say them to. I just got one of those calls that I expect to get more of. I don't know what kind of calls. No, I do know what kind of calls. I have two mothers, both of whom are in not great physical condition, but one of them, my biological mother, has terminal cancer and supposed to be kind of slow growing, and I guess kind of it is because she's had 2 or 3, forget how many now, years with it. Anyway, she hasn't been doing good for the last week or so. Actually, the last few weeks. I was there this past weekend, and she seemed better than when I was there 2 weeks prior. But still, it's like sheer force of will that she's as okay as she is. In fact, they went to the DMV to get it today, my two mothers. So, on the one hand, how bad can it be if you went to the DMV? On the other hand, I think yesterday she was in the ER because she was so sick. And my mother does not go to the doctor or the ER, or she just doesn't. She goes to her 6-month appointments, anything related to that, like to the scans, to the first appointment, to the go get scans appointment, to the here's what your scan said appointment. She goes to all those. She goes to, well, I think those are the only ones. She celebrated not too long ago. She got one of the colonoscopies. I forget how often you're supposed to get them once you're her age, which is 71. But she was real happy because she said that's the last one of those I'll have to get, because she knew she wouldn't be around to have another one. So anyway, she went to the ER, and they gave her fluids and that kind of thing, and then they discharged her. And she's real sick. And so got the phone call from the other mom. You know, and you never know if it's the phone call, or it's one of the phone calls, or what. And then do I go down? They live about 2 hours south of here. Then do I go down? Number one, will that seem like I'm doing the bedside vigil thing? Which, number one, I don't know that it's time. I mean, heck, they were at the DMV today, right? And then also, I'm sure my mother would, she always loves to see me, but I am quite sure my mom's the kind of person who, whenever we had parties, she would end up getting lightheaded at some point because she wouldn't eat until she was sure that everyone else was okay, and taken care of and that kind of thing. And it took like physical unwellness to get her to eat. I'm the same way in some ways. But in any case, I know that if she's not on her deathbed, then she would be really hyper aware that I had disrupted my life to come down there if she's not on her deathbed, when, she's not dead or dying, because she's always kind of joking about that, but of course there's always truth in jokes that, or she's been saying she's dying and she's not, clearly not. This is when she's in a good shape, or pretty good shape for her. And so she's always like aware of that people are gonna say she said she's terminal and then she's not dying, as if she needs to apologize for that. But that's just how she is. So anyway, so I'm aware of that she wouldn't necessarily want me down there if she recovers enough. And another thing is that my mother, although she doesn't treat me like a guest, she does put on her best, I guess, for me in terms of health-wise. She'll push herself a little further than she would for anybody else, including herself. Like we went to the farmer's market and in Eugene, Oregon, this past weekend, which I don't think she really had the strength to do, but she really wanted me to go, and she really wanted to show it to me. A particular vendor, actually, who didn't turn out to be there. But I don't think she would have done that if it weren't for me. She sleeps more than she used to when I visit. But in any case, I think if I went down there and she wasn't, again, on her deathbed, she would push herself harder to be well than she should, or whatever. I don't think she would maybe rest as much. I mean, if she has any say over it, she wouldn't. So, but all that could be just to, I could be thinking all that just so I don't feel bad about not going down there. It's kind of it's not a weird time, it's a great time in terms of, tomorrow, one of my best friends and former roommate, back in 2000 in Boston, is coming to visit, for a long weekend. She's coming Thursday night and will be here till Monday morning. So I have to pick Maggie up from the airport, and I don't have to. I get to. I'm excited to. And most, for the most part, I'm planning on just like this weekend is going to be like this weekend was planned to be, and as much as we planned anything, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh God, I might need to go down there to Eugene. Fortunately, Maggie is as independent as I am in so many ways. So, if we have to figure out logistics, we will figure out logistics and it'll be fine. On the other, like getting her back to the airport on Monday. On the other hand, I'm like, what if my mother dies? And then my best friend, one of my best friends is here, and that would be good. If slightly disruptive to the weekend, but I know we both know one another's family, and so I certainly know that if I planned a fun trip to Boston and something, God forbid, should happen in Maggie's family, I would, screw fun. I would want to be there for Maggie and her family and whatever they need. So I don't worry about that kind of thing. Mostly, I think, not mostly, but that phone call certainly revealed to me, I have chosen to live an independent life in terms of living here alone. I'm here by myself. I live alone. I've chosen that path. I have stayed out of long-term relationships, and I am like 97% happy with that. It's just that 3%, those moments where you get the phone call that isn't the phone call. And your closest friends aren't even in your time zone. And, in fact, all my closest friends are in like 3 time zones away or at least 2 time zones away. And all of them would be at the other end of the phone. But I feel like you don't call those people unless you've gotten the phone call. And what is there to even say about like one of the phone calls? Because I've gotten some calls before. And, what is there even? I mean, it's not like there's a decision to be made. There's nothing to do. If I cry, I mean, you can see that I am emotional about it, but, and I will probably I do like 20-second sobs. Maybe they're not even that long. I don't know. But it's when you get one of the phone calls that I shouldn't say you, that like there's 3% of me that wishes I either had the close friends here or that I lived the kind of life where there was someone to tell at night about the phone call, which isn't, the phone calls. Just one of the phone calls that you'll be getting, and it's hard in those moments not to have somebody there in the dark. But I can make a video, and even if nobody ever watches it, at least I got to say the things, and since I actually don't cry that much, saying them to nobody helps let that out. So, thanks webcam and anybody watching.